American strategic experts did not expect that Iran would choose to cooperate with China to launch an important development plan on the Qeshm Island, in the northern area inside the Strait of Hormuz. In order to prevent this cooperation from proceeding smoothly, some Western media reported that China will be able to establish a military base in Iran. But in fact, the purpose of this cooperation between China and Iran is to transform this barren land into a huge oil warehouse. Therefore, in today's video, I will provide an in-depth analysis of the true purpose of the joint project between China and Iran on Qeshm Island, and why this cooperation has aroused great concern and sensitive reactions in the United States. Before getting into the topic, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the Asia Rising Star channel, which will ensure that you don't miss any of our exciting content. Let's get started now. Iran's Qeshm Island is located in a strategic location in the Strait of Hormuz. It is not only an important waterway between the Persian Gulf and the Indian Ocean, but also the lifeline of global oil and natural gas transportation. According to statistics, about 20% of the world's oil and natural gas is transported through this strait every day, and its impact on global energy supply and prices cannot be underestimated. Ships heading to India, Africa, or China must bypass Qeshm Island and pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Therefore, controlling Qeshm Island actually means ensuring the safety of shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. In this context, Iran and China signed a 25-year strategic cooperation agreement. The agreement covers a wide range of areas, including development projects on Qeshm Island, and involves investments of up to $400 billion. This huge amount of funds is expected to be used to develop Qeshm Island into a key oil export and storage center in the Persian Gulf region, and even one of the largest oil storage warehouses in the entire Middle East. According to the plan, the Qeshm Island port after the project is completed will be able to accommodate large oil tankers with a draft of 140 meters and be equipped with advanced facilities capable of storing at least 30 million barrels of crude oil. But for China, participating in the development of Qeshm Island is not just a simple economic investment, but also has far-reaching strategic significance. As the Strait of Hormuz is one of its important energy import channels, up to 12 million barrels of crude oil are transported through the Strait of Hormuz every day, a quarter of which will be shipped to China. As an important location in the Strait of Hormuz, Qeshm Island has even more important strategic value. In the future, the island will also be connected to the Gwadar port that China has previously invested in and built in Pakistan, thereby greatly shortening China's maritime energy transportation routes and solving the Malacca Strait problem in China's maritime energy transportation. Therefore, once China has investment and cooperation in the Strait of Hormuz region, it can gain greater influence and control. On the other hand, Iran has long faced severe sanctions from Western countries, and its energy industry has suffered a heavy blow, especially its oil export business. During the sanctions, Iran's crude oil exports plummeted to 500,000 to 600,000 barrels per day, far below previous levels. Not only is the energy industry experiencing difficulties, Iran's automobile manufacturing industry has also been severely affected. Sanctions from Western countries have forced the suspension of cooperation projects between Iran and automobile companies in many countries. Facing pressure from the United States, these partners had no choice but to cut off economic ties with Iran, causing the development of the Iranian automobile industry to stagnate. The setbacks in these two key industries have had a major impact on Iran's economy. Coupled with the outbreak of the new crown epidemic in 2020, Iran's economy has suffered a further blow, with GDP expected to decrease by 3% to 5% that year. Against this background, Iran seeks to cooperate with the powerful China in order to break through external difficulties and restore economic vitality. Thanks to China's advantages in advanced technology and investment capabilities, Iran hopes to make progress in the fields of infrastructure construction and economic investment through cooperation with China. The Qeshm Island Development Project is a key project for China to invest in Iran. Through this project, China has the opportunity to export its advanced technology to the Iranian market. In addition, it is planned to expand the existing terminal and oil depot on Qeshm Island to establish an area to promote economic and free trade. It is estimated that this China-Iran cooperation plan will create an economic value of up to $500 billion. Obviously, this is an exciting cooperation agreement that both sides can benefit from. What is more worth mentioning is that the Qeshm Island project not only has economic recovery significance for Iran, but also has a strategic value that is highly sensitive to the United States. This is because there are winding and deep fjords near Qeshm Island. From a military perspective, this is an excellent choice for building a military port. Some Western media have also reported that China will be able to establish a military base in Iran. But as early as 2012, Iran established an underground military facility here to park Iranian small submarines. As the cooperative relationship between China and Iran continues to deepen, the military strength of Qeshm Island will definitely increase accordingly. In fact, the United States maintains strong hostility toward Iran. Considering the U.S.'s resistance to Iran's economic development, the U.S. government has exerted considerable pressure on countries that trade with Iran. Even U.S. ally India has been forced by the U.S. to reconsider its investment plans with Iran through threats of sanctions. This diplomatic approach demonstrates the strength of the United States in international politics. For India, this external pressure has forced it to make concessions in its economic dealings with Iran. Therefore, for China, the United States will not make concessions easily. At the same time, the United States has realized that the effectiveness of sanctions as a deterrent in the past has become less effective than before, and they are worried about China's growing influence in the Middle East. In particular, Qeshm Island, as a key node in China's One Belt, One Road strategy and energy import routes, is of great significance to promoting the Belt and Road initiative and strengthening China's influence in the Middle East. As a result, the U.S. media has increased its propaganda efforts on the China threat theory, accusing China of trying to expand its influence in the Middle East and establish a new hegemony by establishing a military base in Iran. So, what do you think?